Hey guys, Victoria here and welcome back to the Geeky Sandbox. Today we're going to do a non-spoiler review over the movie Terminator Dark Fate. So Terminator Dark Fate is a 2019 sci-fi movie that takes place in Mexico City, where they have this modified liquid Terminator, which they refer to as a Rev 9 model within the movie. It arrives from the future, there to kill a factory worker named Danny. Along with him comes Grace, a modified cyborg kind of human that's there to protect Grace. And of course things prove to be a little too difficult for our two leading ladies, so they get some help from Linda Hamilton, who plays Sarah Connor, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays the T-800 Terminator from our previous films. This movie is directed by Tim Miller and it's definitely something, guys. Me personally, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is one of my favorite movies, so of course I saw a lot of those tones and honestly a story lift from that to this. It's a very similar story, like you just heard me say. It's very similar to what we experienced with John Connor and Sarah Connor in T-800. So very similar storyline there. Whether you like that or not, that's up to you. Me personally, I was kind of looking for something different, and that's just me kind of rolling into the script and the idea here. You know, I like that the antagonist of this film was this modified version of what we saw in in Judgment Day, the Terminator 2 film. But I don't know, I was kind of disappointed that it was like the same story, you know what I mean? Definitely, it was, the story itself wasn't horrible, but I think the execution and just the creativity of it all wasn't really there for me personally. The story dragged quite a bit, getting from place to place, because you guys knew how Terminator 2 was. If you haven't seen Terminator 2, they're trying to keep away from this Terminator that's sent from the future that's trying to kill John Connor in the second film. That's the premise. Like I said, very same and similar premise to what's going on in Terminator Dark Fate. So you kind of have like pit stops where you're trying to do something here, you're trying to formulate a plan, and it's a very similar skeleton, very similar kind of blueprint. There we go, blueprint, if that makes any sense. So you kind of have that stop and go kind of feel with the movie, and that can get a little bit taxing when you're just kind of like, oh man, I just really want stuff to keep happening. It was very good on the action side of things. The storytelling side, it was kind of like, but with the action side, there was a lot there. The stakes were high. There were a lot of close calls. I'm pretty sure CinemaSins, they're gonna sink their teeth into this one whenever they get the chance to do their like everything wrong with Terminator Dark Fate. But there were a lot of close calls, the stakes were high, a lot of characters were taking huge risks, the action was just there, lots of explosions, and just a lot of that like same kind of action that you would get from the previous Terminator movies. And of course, you know, it's nice that we got that, because this is supposed to be the end of all of that. James Cameron was back on board for this one as the producer, so that makes sense as well. And performances, the performances were pretty good. We have Gabriel Luna, who played the Terminator, the liquefied, modified Terminator that comes from the future. He did a really good job, even though there wasn't very many speaking moments for that character and many dialogue filled scenes with that character. He did very good. He was in Wicked City, which unfortunately Wicked City only lasted about one season. And then he was also in I think some episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But he I think he did pretty good as this character that kind of gave you a sense of dread while also making you kind of be like, oh my god, I can respect that determination, because that Terminator was very determined to get the girl, like very determined. He didn't stop at nothing. And at one point he even seemed like unstoppable. And it took everybody to come together just to kind of like try to figure out what they were going to do to prevent him from killing this character, the female protagonist of the film. You also have Mackenzie Davis, who was very used to playing in these type of post-apocalyptic doomsday kind of movies. She was also in The Martian. She was in Blade Runner 2049. So this definitely seems like it's one of those films that was just right up her alley, so it makes sense that she would want to be a part of this as Grace. There wasn't a lot of depth to Grace. Grace definitely seemed like a character who was there to move along the plot, but Grace was very badass. She was very strong. I really liked the idea that she was this kind of cyborg human. The way Grace came to be in the predicament that she's in now, that was definitely rushed along, and that just kind of is another note for the script. that was rushed along just to kind of get everybody, let's get you caught up. This is what happened. Sure, I'll go help her. I guess that's the best way I can kind of explain it to you guys without giving away any spoilers. She served her purpose as a character, but there wasn't much depth to that character other than that, if that makes any sense. But as I said, Mackenzie did a really great job portraying her. And jumping over to T-800, which was played by Arnold again. He reprised his role, which just isn't a spoiler. It was definitely in the trailers. You see the moment where they decide, okay, we need to go get him and get some help. The character was very unrealistic. It didn't seem like the same character. Like, Arnold kind of delivered some of that humor that we like from T-800 from the other Terminator films. We love that humor. But there was definitely a few things where what he was doing with his life when they find him and his kind of mindset at the time definitely seems weird. Like, it didn't seem like it's something he would do. A character choice. I guess that's what I'm getting at. The choices that this character made between Judgment Day and this film don't add up. The choices that T-800 made were made to fit the fact that they did something to another character and they were trying to rectify and explain why they did what they did by making it like, oh, this is okay because he's remorseful, he's like this now, he's kind of living out his life this way. So I don't know, it's kind of like, you know, A plus B equals C was kind of what they were going for. He's like this because of B, which gives us C, this film. All in all, I think that character could have definitely been written a lot better. But like I said, enjoyed the humor. Linda Hamilton did a really great job as Sarah Connor. You can definitely see where her heart has hardened between the last time we saw her and now. I think they did a really great job portraying that, so no real complaints there. And of course, I'm going to leave our main actress for last, Danny, who was portrayed by Natalie Reyes. She did a really great job with the material, I'll say that. The character wasn't bad at all. I really love seeing that that growth from her. Like, that, if it was a quick growth, I'll say that. Quick character growth, but I like that there was some growth there. You can see how different she is from the beginning of the film versus the end of the film, where she kind of has to take a stance and do what she needs to do to protect herself. One of the things that was unfortunate about it, it was very predictable. Her role and why they needed to save her and things like that. Very, very predictable. Very predictable. You get the sense of why she's important before you even get to that point. I know Steven was kind of like whispering like, oh, I think, you know, she's going to be this, or I think this is going to happen. And, you know, he turned out to be right. And it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, you see it coming, but it doesn't make that part of the movie less enjoyable. But they did lean in heavy with the foreshadowing. I think, I don't know, I wasn't like super impressed by the movie. They leveled the playing ground where everybody could, where they tried to make it where everybody could enjoy it. Where if this is your first Terminator film, you were able to grasp what happened back then, why the world is like this now, who are these old characters that are coming back, what are these new characters in for? So you were able to grasp that if this was your first Terminator movie. Coming back though, I don't think there was enough catering for those of us who have watched the movies from the first one. There wasn't enough of that. And I feel like the way they were trying to cater to that was giving a similar storyline to the second movie. So I see what they were trying to do, and I appreciate what they were trying to do for new and old movie watchers, moviegoers alike. I just think the execution could have been a lot smoother. The age-old question, what should I give Terminator Dark Fate? I give Terminator Dark Fate 2.5 out of 5 geeks. So you should go see this movie for the action and the fun. Yes, go see it. Why not go see it for the action and the fun? Steven and I still had a lot of fun with the movie. But if you are wanting good closure within this Terminator saga, I would not expect a lot. If you're new, you haven't seen any of the other ones, still go see it and get introduced to the Terminator world, because I think it's a very cool world. It's a very cool concept. I love the idea of time travel, and I love the idea of androids, AIs, robots, trying to kill people. Like, that whole idea is like very cool. So definitely give the series a try if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't know anything about it. This movie will get you all caught up. But if you have already seen this one, I urge you to go back and watch the first two. Very, very, very good films for their time. And it's interesting to see how the effects of the first two movies, they kind of hold up compared to this one. Like, they hold up. So yeah, definitely take a look and go back and watch some of those films. But anyways, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like rating down below. And of course, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know, if you want to see more videos from me, I don't spam very often. I kind of do a couple of videos a week, depending on what's out and whatnot. And with that, guys, if you have any suggestions for something I should watch or something I have not watched yet and you're wondering about it, go ahead and leave me a comment about it. Until next time, guys, I'll be back. Bye.